Supermoon Tarot, and in today's video we are going to be looking at urgent love messages from your spirit guides. As you can see, we have 4 groups in front of us represented by these beautiful babies. We have group number 1, Spirit Quartz, group number 2, Seafoam Calcite, group number 3, Pyrite, and group number 4, Yellow Jasper. I'm going to give you a moment to pick the group that you resonate with most. Now that you have, you can go down to the description where you can skip to your designated group with its marked timestamp. But let's get started with group number 1. Group number 1, let's look at those urgent love messages by looking at the cards. Let's see what we have here. We've got the Moon upright, Page of Cups upright, Page of Wands upright, 7 of Pentacles in reverse, and 4 of Pentacles upright. I can see this is a newer relationship. Let me see what's going on here. Oh, okay, I love this. This is interesting. I can see that there is both a lot of hope in this relationship, but also some bumps and hiccups along the way that you maybe like you didn't see coming, so to speak, and you're not exactly loving right now. But strangely enough, those are positive indicators of what's going on and that the two of you have more in common than you may realize. So let's go into this. First, I want to start with the Moon card being absolutely appropriate. It's acting as sort of a reflection. This isn't always the traditional meaning for a lot of people, but for me, and the way I read tarot, the Moon acts as sort of a mirroring image, like it mirrors your inner power, so to speak. Anyways, so this reflection, this concept of this reflection is beautiful, not only in what's going on personally with you and what's going on personally with the other person, but within the way the cards are laid out. I love when tarot acts as a beautiful metaphor with what's going on over here and what's going on over here, but we'll get into the specifics in a moment. So first, let's start with you, and then we're going to go into the other person because you'll find it pretty interesting. So I can see that you're dealing with some self-confidence issues because you can feel yourself closing off from this other person. You don't mean to, you don't exactly want it that way, you can't help it, but you feel kind of guilty about it. Like, oh, why can't I be more open? Why am I being this way? And you're almost pushing against it, but you can't help but intuitively follow it. Well, there's a reason why you're feeling that way, but we'll get to that in a second. So over here is also you in the Page of Wands. Think of this object, they're holding this cane, as a support system, and it's the representation that you've been doing a great job taking care of yourself for a while now. And we're talking about encouragement, just general support, pumping yourself up by yourself, but you kind of finally hit a point where you'd love that inanimate object to be another person. You'd love to hear what they have to say. You'd love to just hear at the end of the day someone amping you up and loving what you do. And so you kind of very sweetly went out on a limb, opened up, and you were like, okay, I'm ready to be with somebody else. I'm ready to put myself out there and, so to speak, be vulnerable. But in the beginning of this relationship, I can tell they were more available and open. This is what allowed you to say, yeah, okay, this is the person I'm going to be. They're going to reciprocate how I feel, cool. They're letting me know they're into me. And then things changed. I can see that they, pulled away and became quite closed off themselves. See how the reflection is starting? We're going to actually get deeper into this. And this then turned what was a very healthy concept of you being like, okay, I'm open. I'm thinking of taking applications to replacing my support system right now with an actual person. And you're being forced to kind of overly rely on it again, but not in a healthy way where you had a nice, it was your choice to do it. It was a positive thing. It was a walking stick to move forward, so to speak. And I hope these metaphors are coming through. It makes sense. And you're having to overly lean on it. You're earnestly waiting for them to give a reply so you can replace them with the walking stick, so to speak. And it's just feeling frustrating, and you feel almost like, I don't know if codependent would be the word, but we're just going to use that now. You're being put in a place to have to be like, okay, to this other person, okay, what are we doing here? What's going on? I'm waiting for your reply. I'm interested. And I can imagine that's pretty frustrating. So you have this like double thing going on of feeling simultaneously guilty for your own feeling emotionally closed off, but then simultaneously putting yourself out there, it feeling very vulnerable, uncomfortable, and you're just not quite sure what changed or went wrong. Well, we can get into that. So yes, this other person was putting themselves out there, letting them know they like you, they're interested, maybe initially a lot of texting, reaching out to you first kind of concept. But here's the thing. While this moon card also talks about how you're dealing with your own closed off issues, it also simultaneously talks about how this other person, your first impression of them wasn't exactly correct. This isn't your fault. This is definitely the show they put on, but whatever you perceived them as isn't necessarily true. However, with that ominous tone, that doesn't necessarily mean like they're this bad person and they're stringing you along. Not at all. We've got their own dynamic going on in the Four of Pentacles. So they too are suffering and closed off first. And this is what's then causing you to close yourself off. When we have a Four of Pentacles situation, this is someone who is suffering from feeling like they just don't have enough to give. So they hold on to what they have. This could be emotions, energy. I'm feeling more pulled towards energy, to be honest with you. Energy, I did a whole video about it. You can watch it. I just did it last week talking about how energy actually affects our emotions more than we know. So they could be having an emotional reaction and feeling like they don't have enough to give emotionally, even though it's an energy problem needing to be just rebalanced and can easily be rebalanced. Actually, I'm posting a meditation today talking about that. So if you're interested, you can check that out. Anyways, back to what we were talking about with the Four Pentacles. So this is when somebody's like closing themselves off, and this is something we can all have compassion for. They just are like, they feel if they give any more, they're going to fall apart. So it's not coming from any other place but survival. And they too, I don't see any indicator of it. Well, actually, let me take that back. I do see an indicator right here. Sorry about that. See, here's you, Page of Wands. You're new. It's a new thing for you to put yourself out there. Well, it was also a new thing for them to put themselves out there. As you can see, it's emotionally related. So if their emotions are being affected by their energy, you can see where the confusion comes in for them. And so they tried to put themselves out there. They tried something different. And as you guys started to get close, it just kind of was too much for them. They realized maybe I'm not quite ready, and they kind of closed themselves off because this is how they perceive themselves right now. Also, this can deal with being closed off financially as well, like feeling like maybe they felt self-conscious they didn't have enough to give and treat to you and stuff like that. And sometimes people define themselves by their self-worth by how much they earn or have or don't have. So it's just something to keep in mind too. So with the Moon card over here, this is something to understand that you actually were, you shouldn't feel self-conscious. You should feel proud of yourself because your intuition was kicking in properly. You were reflecting naturally what they were putting out towards you of being closed off. And when we respond in this kind of way, this not only shows your very high intense level of intuition and psychic abilities, which is awesome, but this is how you understand and read the language of the universe. You are an acting reflection of what you're feeling and seeing and picking up. So the next time you start to feel self-conscious and you're like, wow, why am I feeling so, this could even be like anger. Take a step. There is anger you're most likely picking up from someone else, and you're trying to show yourself, see, this is how they feel. This is how they're experiencing it, and you're kind of getting a moment of that, and it's easy to misinterpret for your own emotions. So you shouldn't feel self-conscious. You have an incredible way of reading people, but you're also only naturally responding the way what they're putting out, like as in this idea and concept is not all in your head. However, I do want to look into this more of why they are closed off. So let me just pull 2 more cards. Let me see right here. Energy. I just said energy. Okay. So over here in the Temperance card, this specifically talks about their energy being imbalanced. This is when it results in their emotions having a lot of high highs and low lows. And in this case, very open and then very closed. We can see their defensive nature coming out over here in the 7 of Pentacles, and them just trying to, this up and down energy flow and emotional state is then causing them to feel like they have to hide it away, protect themselves. This is all they know how to do. They don't know how to treat it, so all they can do is protect it from getting more damage from somebody else's judgment. So they're thinking, oh no, if you pick up on this and have any sort of commentary I'm not happy with, I don't know how to handle that because I already am struggling to be able to handle this, so I will defend myself by pulling away, by keeping everything in. This is what I know. This is all I can deal with. So let's have the utmost compassion for them. But also, I'm happy to say that my spirit guides are telling me that this can actually change. This is something that can be fixed. We can work with this. You can either, straight up, if you're open enough in this kind of way between the two of you, can straight up be like, hey, I think there's a potential that your energy's having an issue. We can meditate, or you can kind of just, instead of maybe being as straightforward as that they might be a little too sensitive for that. You can just be like, hey, do you want to meditate together? And you can do the meditation I just put out today. It's a source meditation. It will help them so much. This will help them a lot. You can either go out together and get massages or do that for one another. That's a great way of connecting with the body and then helping restore energy flow. It's like a really positive, activity to do. I'm trying to ask if there's anything else. Okay. My spirit guides are telling me you can open up by being like, hey, I'm struggling with feeling closed off. ... How do you feel? And then kind of start the conversation, and just by simply knowing that they're not alone and struggling with this can make the sort of up and down, highs and peaks and lows of feeling energetically imbalanced not so scary and daunting to start facing, essentially. So they're not bad. They're not trying to string you along. You're not incorrectly perceiving your emotions. You're actually intelligently picking up on somebody else's, and we can understand now where they're coming from. So things can change. They can be open. If you're interested in kind of exploring this with them, we can fix it and make it better for them. And at the minimum, we can have compassion that they are pulling back for a very good reason. So I hope this reading was awesome and fun to experience as much as it was fun for me to read it. Please consider giving this video a like, comment, subscribe, and even share it. It helps out like you would not believe. Have a lovely day. I look forward to seeing you in the next one. And let's get ready for group number 2. Group number 2. Let's look at those urgent love messages from your spirit guides by looking at the cards. Let's see what we have here. We have 2 of Pentacles in reverse, the Strength card in reverse, the Hierophant in reverse, the Knight of Wands in reverse, and the 2 of Cups upright. That's always a good sign. Let me see what's going on here. I'm just checking. Oh, this is so cute. Oh, I love this. Okay, I pretty much have nothing but good stuff to talk about. I love this. But we're mostly focusing on the urgent message is actually all about you and how you're personally feeling in relation to this other person. We actually have a lot of great positive things to talk about in the future with the two of you, but right now there's some important things you need to hear about yourself in order to feel more comfortable, enjoy the whole situation more, and then therefore look forward to this happy, bright situation going on in the future. So I was trying to think of another word for future, but I couldn't think of it. Anyways, so let's first start with the Strength card. This is talking about a lack of confidence in comparison of this other person. You think very highly of them, and you kind of are starting to feel like, oh, I don't know if I have anything to offer in the same regard, essentially. Now, the Strength card is really interesting in this particular spread. Normally, people look at the situation going on here. I was like, do I want to mess this up? There we go. The person having to tame a beast. And this could be your inner shadow self, this could be the other person, but the idea is acknowledging that this is how it is and that it could overtake you, but you've got it all worked out, you're working great with it. But the thing that's interesting here, I'm being told by my spirit guides, is that you think there is a beast to tame at all. You think that your confidence and the way you feel, there's something to kind of hold or control or face, or even affirmations in this particular case is viewing it as sort of a separate thing that needs to be manhandled, so to speak, and that we can just say that the beast essentially isn't even there. This is more of a choice you're making, like you're in the moment having a second of feeling bad and being like, oh, I think they're so great, and then the lack of confidence and moving forward with that lack of confidence is very much a choice on your part. Now, I know that might be hard to hear, and you might even feel like, no, it's not, but please just hear this out. It's an empowering thing to realize, oh wait, when I feel that moment of not feeling great about myself and this other person, yes, those emotions are valid and it's okay you even have them. But then moving forward and continuously reaffirming things like, yep, and I'm not good enough. Yeah, I just don't know what I have to offer compared to them. Man, why are they even with me? That is you reaffirming something, and then that's where the lack of confidence comes from. And then over time, you think that within itself is, again, the quote-unquote beast, but it's you. You can choose to not say those things in that way. It's okay that you feel emotions and you're struggling with them, but you don't have to keep reaffirming them or creating an inner monologue and narrative about the situations that just isn't there, essentially. But we can get a little more specific about that. So over here we have you represented by the Two of Pentacles in reverse and them represented by the Hierophant in reverse. So I'm going to oversimplify this and just say, think of one pentacle representing love and relationship and free time with this other person, and the other part representing work. But we're using this as more of a comparison of like love and relationship in someone else, or this could be anything else. So like your daily activities, things you do to be a normal person and like pay the bills and different stuff like that. But anyways, we're going to refer to it as love and work. Anyways, there is this clear awareness you have that these things feel separate and need to be managed, and you're very aware that you need to make time to talk to this other person and then make time to work, and you see them as very separate, and in general you're almost too present, so to speak, that this is making you feel self-analytical about different ways you're interacting with life. And this over self-analysis is then therefore causing you to start to tip over, like feel like you're making minor mistakes. Keep in mind, I'm actually being told whatever feels like a mistake or a minor mistake is actually divinely perfect. You're doing fine. You're not actually messing anything up with your job or anything. It's kind of, I'm being told for now all you need to know is this is mysteriously working out in your favor, and then in the long term you're going to realize it's all okay. But this not feeling like you have to be so aware and control everything, and keep in mind, this is not referring to you as a controlling person. It's just an over awareness essentially, and feeling like things need to be handled, compared to how you feel about this other person. They seem to have an unconventional way about life and love. They seem to flow, and there's just sense of confidence and feeling totally happy about with who they are, especially with how they don't view life. They're the total antithesis of the way you do, so to speak. You get what I'm saying here? And then when you're highly aware of that, this is what then kicks in the thinking you need to put yourself down and feeling bad about yourself, essentially. But here's the thing. We have the beautiful situation going over here in the Two of Cups. So not only is this the happy confirmation that actually everything's going to work out really well between the two of you, and we're talking in a bigger sort of relationship kind of way. This has much more of a heavier insinuation that this is a longer term, relationship, much more serious, but it's also the positive characteristics going on in the relationship. When we have a Two of Cups, this is when both people are equal. They equally depend on each other. They equally depend on each other for energy, support, love, everything. And they exchange it and they receive it in equivalency. And this is the positive thing going on here, that you are holding them up or thinking that they've got it all figured out or something, but they view you just as highly. You have something that they don't naturally, click in, like it's not the natural way they function. And obviously you see that they have something that in the way they naturally function that you would like. And essentially you're able to bring to the other one that, help the other one embody that concept, and they very much appreciate what you have to offer right now, even if you feel like you're messing up and you don't even know what you're doing or anything like that. Trust me, they are still admiring it. And this in turn is what helps bring the two of you closer and enable both of you to function so well as a unit, so to speak. I'm very happy to say that I can see you're very into them, and that this more serious side of the relationship developing is going to happen rather quickly. I'm very excited for you. It's going to be very passion driven, and soon that self-consciousness is going to go away, and both of you, this sort of wall that you are feeling like you're putting up is going to go away very quickly, and then you'll both be able to see that within each other, and you'll be like, wow, okay, well then I can just be myself. Definitely enjoy taking on some of these characteristics as I'm being taught them, and they can in turn feel really happy and excited about what they can learn and take on from you. And then you guys can just essentially be a match made in heaven and really enjoy. I do want to point out one last positive thing that I really love about the Two of Cups. This usually pops up when couples have that sort of characteristic that other people definitely notice and admire. It's more than the two of you being in love and other people being like, I can see you're in a relationship, or I can see you're really in love. That's so cute. Good for you. It's more of a, wow, I wish I was like you guys. You guys seem so together. You guys seem so interested in what the other one is saying. You seem like both friends and romantic partners. Wow, I wish I could have that. So, like I said, nothing but positive stuff going on here, and I'm really excited for you, both of you. If you enjoyed this reading, please consider giving it a like, comment, and share. It helps out like you would not believe. Have a lovely day. I look forward to seeing you in the next one, and let's get ready for group number 3. Group number 3, let's look at those urgent love messages from your spirit guides by looking at the cards. We have 9 of Swords upright, the Hanged Man in reverse, 9 of Cups upright, Ace of Wands in reverse, and Page of Pentacles upright. Just look at this. Oh, okay. This is great. I love this because this is popping up for when you feel like relationships just kind of don't seem to be working. You just feel like there's some sort of offness, maybe even in the act of in general getting with other people, or you've been trying to date people and it just doesn't seem to work, and it's just kind of getting to you and you don't love it. Who would? Who would love this? And guess what? We can get into actual specifics as to what's happening in order to fix it, which I love. So first off, let's talk about the Ace of Wands in reverse. This is something that you should put out to the universe when you were saying, hey, this is the kind of relationship I would like. Hey, can I have it heavily focused on this because this is what you essentially need. And often the universe brings to us even faster what we deeply need. So by understanding that, it's easier to attract what is the most beneficial to us. So yes, you can totally ask for, a long-term partner and emotional connection and honesty and like a friend and all that other positive stuff. That can be in addition to this. But you should heavily ask for the type of love that's super passionate, the kind that makes your heart stand still. It wakes you up. You can't even focus at work. You're just so, enthralled by this other person. It is just totally, next level, like a movie, so to speak. But it's about that passion. We're not just talking about emotional connection. We're talking about that your heart skips a beat sort of feeling when you're with them. So when you're expressing yourself about this person, if people are like, oh, I see you're with somebody else, how are they like? And you're saying, oh, well, they're so, they're nice. We just get along. I don't know. I think they're cute. I like them. It would be like, oh my goodness, I didn't know what love was. Oh, I'm just so excited to see them next. I don't even want to be here talking to you right now. This is something that you need most right now, especially when we talk about what's going on over here, ironically, about where you need to be. You'll laugh about how the universe works and how it will all beautifully come together. But we'll get to that in one moment. So over here is what you are currently, I don't know how to say this. It's like what you're feeling and sort of what your mindset's at. Yeah. So over here in the Hangman, while it is in reverse, I'm being told to read it actually upright, which would it mean that you're feeling super stuck, just unable to move or go anywhere, and you're like nothing seems to be working out. It definitely feels like a timing thing. Like maybe this be the timing be with other people. Like they're like, not right now, maybe later. Or you just feel kind of like, man, is this just not the time that I connect with anyone? It's just this, we're just understanding where you're at right now. But it's a mirror image of what's going on here because both are an important theme going on. We also have the Nine of Cups representing you being like, okay, I want this dream perfect person and I do not want to settle. Again, nothing here, especially with what I'm checking with my spirit guides, is something to fix or change necessarily. It's absolutely okay that you want to ask for your dream person. That's fine. Go for that. That doesn't need to change. You're not being overly idealistic. And the fact that things haven't been working out is fine too. Nothing's wrong about that. But both of these, as you can tell, are very isolated images, very standing still. They're not changing. They're not moving. And we're more connecting to the compassionate, we're more having compassion essentially of understanding. We can see there's nothing going around you. You're more just surrounded with your own emotions, which then causes you to essentially be hyper aware that you're not going anywhere. There's no connections being, made or anything like that. No one's coming towards you necessarily. And you're like a little too aware of it, essentially, that you can kind of feel it's not on the brim of the horizon, so to speak. And I just want to be clear about this. This isn't something to correct. We're just trying to get into your state of mind. This is in turn then causing what's going on over here in the Nine of Swords. This is someone who is intensely overwhelmed and anxious, and it just causes them to repeat certain maybe not favorable ideas of themselves or the future or situation over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. And it kind of causes you to be trapped within yourself. It's not a super fun feeling, but all of this is due to being overly aware, and your current situation and where you're standing is then in turn causing a repeating cycle of being overly aware, essentially. You see what I'm saying? So we're just kind of, by understanding this, we can understand where we need to go, but it can give us, you can be a little nicer to yourself and be like, well, it's understandable I'm here, but we also want to be aware that this isn't where you need to stay forever. There's something else I feel like it was on the tip of my tongue that I wanted to say about this, that I wanted to be clear before I go into this. I remember now. Thank you for your patience. In the Nine of Swords, it being reversed is actually incredibly wonderful and hopeful, because when it's upright, it's a kind of a little bit of a scary sort of vibe, because it's implying that your anxiety is warranted. And in this case, it's not to put down or take value out of like what you're experiencing. Like your emotions are valid, essentially. It's saying that, hey, you're kind of stressing out about something that there's nothing to be stressed about, essentially. So therefore you can be like, oh, okay, so don't really need to be worried about the future. There isn't something bad coming around the corner, or I'm not going to be without anybody forever. Yeah, you're fine. It's okay. I mean, I'm not seeing anything right now, but there's definitely nothing definitively there. It can change in an instant from a perspective and an attitude change. So we love that. That's something to keep in mind when you feel yourself repeating. You should definitely keep that in check, because kind of what you're putting out is what you're getting back. And even though it's understandable why you're putting it out, you just don't need to do that. But last thing I'll say before, I'm not trying to ramble, I'm just making it clear. You do not need to continue the mantra of being like, yeah, I'm stuck, whatever, but you also don't need to criticize that you've been at a standstill and you've been really focused. These are not the things that are in the way. Being very focused on your dream person. Do you see what I'm saying? You're not being over idealized. Anyways, all of that aside, sorry if that sounded repetitive. Let's talk about the Page of Pentacles and where you essentially need to be at in order to receive this passionate romance, because you can change all of this essentially in an instant. So the Page of Pentacles is actually quite distracted. They're not really paying attention to love. They are very excited about their own personal life and their ventures. They're like, this can be very small. They're like, you know what? When I get home, I'm going to pour, a delicious glass of lemonade. I'm going to, maybe you have a favorite show you're going to watch, and you're going to maybe, whether this be like at the same time do your nails, maybe you want to you're knitting something. I don't know what your current favorite sit-down hobby is. I personally love to play video games on my Switch and watch something. That's super fun too, or listen to a podcast. Whatever this is, it's the idea of being excited about life and yourself, and you're just distracted and happy. You can be distracted and happy about your career or something like that, but I'm just trying to keep in mind that it doesn't have to be that. And you're just really focused on that. You've totally relinquished the idea of love. It's like you've cast it out there. This is my dream person. I especially want it to be emphasized in the beginning on passion and connection in this kind of way. And then you just kind of forget about it. And you're like, whatever. It's not that I have to keep reaffirming with myself that it's around the corner, and so I don't have to think about it. I'm just truly not thinking about it. Again, you're not thinking about it because you're thinking I'm done with romance or anything like that. You're just not thinking about it at all. And as you're distracted and you're focused in that kind of way, you're kind of pulling away, this is then when the passion gets drawn to you, because you're in turn finding passion by your distraction. I don't know if that rhymes, but you know what I'm saying. And sort of it clears out blockages because you're no longer in your own way unintentionally. So that gets there. But to be honest with you, I'm less picking up on blockages. Think of this as sort of stagnant energy. You're creating energy by being focused in this kind of way, and therefore like attracts like, and you're attracting it to you. And it's better for you if they come to you and approach you, especially when you're within your distraction. That's kind of like the ideal way of it all coming together for various of reasons, so you don't get in your head, so a bunch of other things. So I'm really excited for you, because this can change in an absolute instant, and this, you could be distracted and having fun for 2 days and then meet the love of your life the next. So get it pumped for this passionate, exciting, fun situation. Be kind to yourself. You're not doing anything necessarily wrong. It's understandable why you feel the way you do, and you can put out to the universe exactly who you want, but then kind of let it go. Don't think about it. So if you enjoyed this reading as much as I did, please consider giving it a like, comment, subscribe. It helps out the channel like you would not believe. Have a lovely day. I look forward to seeing you in the next one. And consider giving it a like, comment, subscribe, and even a share. It helps out. Did I say that? Oh, whoops. I'm so sorry about the redundancy. And let's get ready for group number 4. Group number 4. Let's look at those urgent love messages from your spirit guides by looking at the cards. We have 3 of Wands upright, 6 of Wands upright, the Devil in reverse, 5 of Wands upright, and 5 of Swords in reverse. Wow. There's a lot going on here. Okay. Oh, I love this for you. Okay, I'm simultaneously reading it as I'm making this look as even. I can't make this perfect all day. I get so focused on it. I'm so sorry if this bothers you guys. I'm just like, it bothers me to look at it and be like, it's not straight. But it is. Anyways, so so first off, I want to point out how important this card is in the Devil in reverse. I was actually made it aware to me from my spirit guides, but I also was noticing it myself, and they were like, yeah, that's the most important. So this signifies a leaving, which I'm really happy to say, leaving an unhealthy, we could say this could be a relationship, like romantically. This could be maybe you don't exactly love whoever you're living with, or somebody constantly bothers you. It's something that's not great. It's not healthy how somebody else treats you or the situation you're in, essentially. And that's going to be ending. I'm very happy to say why it's ending of someone else popping up, which is super awesome and exciting. But I want to get into a little bit of this before we get into this. So like I said, you're going to be leaving this circumstance, and I want to talk about something important in order to basically start up or potentially, okay, I'm being confirmed by my spirit guides, it is the key to releasing yourself essentially from this. So this other person, this situation, we're just kind of loosely defining it as, is a 5 of Wands situation. This is when you feel constantly brought back into responding. I like to refer to this as taking the bait. Maybe they say something to you and you're defending yourself, or you feel like you have to answer them even in general, and you keep being pulled back in to respond over and over and over again, and you just suddenly, or you're caught in a situation where nothing ever comes about from the end of the discussion. You never improve. I mean, probably get worse from being caught in this circumstance over and over again. But if you think that by talking to them, it will get changed or better, or get changed. I just heard I'm trying to simultaneously remember all these messages and speak about it. Sometimes my vocabulary and my grammar doesn't come out the best. Anyways, but you keep being lured essentially into responding and keep interacting with them and be caught into this cycle over and over and over again. Keep in mind, the devil's all about cycles, and this one will be ending, I'm happy to say. Now, the 2 main things holding you back in this not great circumstance is feeling like you need to respond, feeling like you need to give them an answer, feeling like you need to defend yourself. And honestly, it's all about just being like, I'm done. I don't need to. It doesn't matter what you say. You're not going to hurt me anymore. Even if it hurts me and I know you're wrong, I'm not going to speak back about it. If you make me feel bad and make me feel like I need to make you feel better, I'm just leaving it. I'll have to feel bad temporarily and eventually wake up and realize you weren't doing anything bad to begin with. They were putting that on you. But either way, it's the idea of pulling back, because nothing will ever come from continuously interacting in this circumstance. This gets confirmed here, but also is like an added little detail in the Five of Swords. This is showing you that you subconsciously think, or potentially consciously think, that you need to sort of make amends with this other person. Say sorry, have them say sorry, have some sort of conclusion and emotionally, when often people are like, at least we owe each other, that kind of idea. Here's the thing. You just don't need it. We talked about the cycle. It's just not going to happen in this particular circumstance. And feeling like you need to make amends in combination with this is sort of the wall that's preventing you from fully releasing. You don't need it. In fact, if you even tried to, it wouldn't actually ever come into fruition or happen because of the way this is working out. And so by walking away and kind of giving yourself the I'm not a bad person if we don't come to a full emotional resolve. I don't need to say sorry. They don't need to say sorry. I'm just letting this one go, essentially, over here. Then essentially allows you to be free, which I love. But the interesting thing here is, while you are your own person setting yourself free, there's a bit of a rescue mission going on with this other person, I'm happy to report. When we have a Six of Wands circumstance, this is them popping in and making you feel amazing. They're like, I love what you have to offer. I'm interested. I think you're so great and amazing. They will most likely be a huge dramatic twist from this other person. They'll most likely be very financially successful and have sort of an air of awesomeness around them, have a strong likability factor. And you're going to be like, wow, you like me, especially after coming out of this circumstance. And they're like, yeah, I see what you have to offer. I see the things that you like and who you are as a person. And I think it's pretty amazing and I want to be around it more. So so if you have a moment where when you are in coming encounter with them and you start to put yourself down and think, I can't possibly be anything worth compared to how cool they are. No. They really think that you're great. In fact, we get that double confirmation, not only in this card, but in the Three of Wands. This is talking about how you're going to meet over social media. This is pretty loose. All I know is this isn't going to be a sort of phone call kind of conversation or meet in person. This is like a meeting on a dating app. Maybe they see you on Instagram or something like that. There is some form of I see you, I see what you have to offer, and what you're putting out there. While you might think internally you might be putting this out there, you're not. This is just the circumstance you're in. What you've been putting out there is this is who I am as a person, just we're being really matter of fact here, really straightforward. I like this, and this. I have this sort of personality characteristics. This is who I am. And no matter how you feel about that, whether you hold that in high regard or you think of it as nonchalant nothing, they were like, oh, me too. I feel that. I feel what you're putting out there. I also am responding and bonding with this concept. I want to let them know and reach out to them and be with them. So when you're holding them in such high regard, understand that they don't necessarily see themselves that way as well. They're just approaching you and being a person. So if you think they're awesome, essentially you're in turn, you have to acknowledge that you're awesome, because that's why they approached you in the first place, which is going to be awesome. Did I say that too many times? I'm just having a redundant kind of day, unfortunately, with my vocabulary. Well, anyways, so let go. It's not going to add up to anything. You don't need to have a conclusion or say sorry. You're going to have to just leave it up in the air and let it fizzle out naturally, emotionally for yourself. To free yourself, it is an unhealthy situation and relationship, whether this be romantic or with somebody else. Let it go, let it be released, let yourself free to be then made more available for this. This is going to feel like a rescue mission, which is awesome, because they in turn are going to make you feel better. And it's going to be a 180 of what you were experiencing before, and they're going to make your life feel so much more fantastic in comparison. That's why I keep using that term rescue, because that's what it feels like. And just understand that they are only sort of, I don't want to say reflecting, but you are not too far off from what you are admiring in them. They are also admiring in you, and you will meet through social media. So yay! Very totally different 180 of what you could possibly experience. If you enjoyed this reading, please consider giving it a like, comment, and subscribe, and share. It helps out the channel like you would not believe. Have a beautiful day. I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye!